Bed. Love.
Bed.
Bed.
Love. Beyond.
Bed, love, beyond. Bed, love, beyond.
Welcome to Bed Love Beyond, the podcast for the hopeful and the hater in us to discuss sex, love, relationships, and whatever's clever with like-minded people like you who are also in limbo with love like us. I'm Miss April.
And I'm Jennifer.
And our guest for today is...
Brigid. Hi.
Hey, Brigid.
Hey.
Welcome back to the all-female episode.
I am so excited. This is so cool. I mean, Martini's great, but this is awesome.
Oh my goodness. So we're gonna still do things a little differently. We're still finding our way in the water here. So is there anything exciting going on in your neck of the woods since we last saw you? I don't know how many visits this has been for you, but let's just say a lot. So
It has been a lot.
welcome back again.
Thanks. So my biggest life update is, well, remember there was a big topic for us was long-ish distance dating.
Oh yeah.
Because what of a pain in the ass it is to not live in New York. But I'm now moving to New York.
New York
Really?
City?
So yes, I'm moving to New York City because
Are you?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Wow.
It's it like costs like more than half my paycheck, but it's I start grad school in the fall, and I'm working in New York, and I'll be going to classes in New York, and it just doesn't make sense.
What about like Jersey City?
I looked in Jersey City, but
Weehawken.
yeah, I was thinking that too, like Jersey City, Hoboken. But my school is on East 70th Street, and there's like one subway that stops there, and it's the 6 train, which only goes like up and downtown, and it doesn't go like east to west. So my commute would actually be
Is that
still
J-Lo-
like,
is
it'd
that
still be like an
J-Lo's
hour.
train? Isn't she on the 6?
I don't
No.
know.
I think so.
I don't know.
Does it go to the Bronx? Because that's probably what that means.
It does go to the Bronx.
That's her train.
That's the train. So
might-
you're going to be living alone?
No, I have a roommate.
Oh, okay.
I've only met him twice.
Is it his place and he was looking for a roommate?
No, he is from Philly. He's in my grad program.
Oh, cool.
And so that's how we like connected through that, because he's moving up from Philly. And he's like this old queen, and he's fabulous, and it's going to be hilarious. And we are going to be
Yes.
sharing a shoebox with our cats because he also has a cat. So
Nice.
we could probably make a sitcom out of what's going to happen this year.
Oh, that'd be fun though.
Yeah, maybe. I'm looking forward to it. Just having a short commute.
No car, right?
No car. He has a
Oh.
car, so I guess we have to figure out what's happening with that. But yeah, that's where we're at.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, if you could do it, everyone, I guess, try it and
Exactly. I'm like, I can do it. My grad program is a year long, so
Oh,
it's it's a 1-year lease, and then that'll be done. And then I don't know, maybe I'll move back in with my parents so I can save some money, because I do want to buy a house. I feel like it's such a waste to just pay rent.
It is.
Yeah.
Over time, you end up paying, your rent is higher than what your mortgage would have
Exactly.
been
Right.
5 years before.
Exactly. And I'm not going to be able to afford a mortgage if I don't have savings. So
But it's
yeah.
probably going to be like more. I mean, I guess the rent is one thing, but it's like more time efficient to be right in the city.
I think, the time saver is totally worth it.
And it might make dating very interesting.
It will certainly be interesting should I have the time to do it.
You're like, sorry, I can't date or go to the zoo or any of those things because
Fuck the zoo. I give up.
because I have rent to pay. Oh my goodness. Anything interesting going on in your world, April?
Not much.
Yeah.
Not much going on.
Same here. Try not to murk anyone today. It's going to be very hard.
You're both in relationships. Like, what do you have to like? Come on.
I mean, they have their ups and downs, but at the same time,
True.
it's just kind of like nothing exciting happens. My niece sent me a picture of her baby.
Woo.
It's like something with kind of limbs. I don't know. It's like it has a head now, I think. I don't know. She was like, Sarah knew what she was looking at. I had no idea. And then Sarah was like, it's so cute. I started to cry. I was like,
Oh.
okay.
Wow.
And then meanwhile, like, my niece's mom is in the background. She's like, I don't know, Jen. I'm like, all right, calm yourself, Sheila. She's like, just keep your comments to yourself, like, before this kid starts getting all upset. But I don't know if anybody watched last week, but Married at First Sight started.
Ooh, I said I was gonna watch it this season because you guys are so into it, but I forgot about it.
So
I only saw that article that I tagged you in about the comments what's his name?
Oh,
We can just call him the one black guy until we figure out his name. Aren't they the only black couple on there?
yeah.
From last season?
No, this season. New
Oh,
season.
okay.
Dallas.
Oh, so they did that again?
Yeah, I don't know why they always do it, and I was like really excited because I really thought there was like an interracial couple this season, and I was like, way to go, Married at First Sight and Lifetime, you're just branching on out there. But no,
Damn.
she's like Dominican. No, not Dominican. She is Jamaican and Trini, but like her Trini side is like the Indian Trini side.
Mm-hmm.
Like her dad looks Indian instead of I don't know Caribbean, and so she looks very like Caribbean. She actually looks like a girl from the Florida season, but I don't know. I'm only really interested in them right now. The white couples are a little boring.
Aren't they all, though?
Yeah. But, like, I guess what happened, April, there was an article about, because he said something about, first of all, what he said was, she was like, oh, were you nervous to meet me? And he said, oh, my brothers were saying that you might be $3.50 short of you might be a biscuit short of $3.50. And she was like, what? And she's like, I don't know what that means. And he was like, oh, if you eat one more biscuit, you'll be 350 pounds.
What?
So this one particular, I only saw one article about it. I don't think the media is in a rage over it. But this one particular article pretty much said he was fat shaming.
Okay.
And then he said, I guess they asked him what do you look for, and he said I only like light-skinned women.
They melt his butter.
Right. so then they said he's, color struck.
Shit. Yeah.
Basically.
Oh, my.
I guess he was the only one that ain't interested in comments because they ain't talk about anybody else.
Yeah, the other people.
Okay.
The one kid looks really young of the one white couple. Both of them look like serial killers. The one really looks like a serial killer. Me and this girl on Instagram had like a full-blown conversation where like Lifetime needs to cast him for one of their Sunday afternoon movies. I'm like, you know the one I'm talking about. She's like, yes, I do, girl. I was like,
Didn't Lifetime make a movie about how all reality shows are fake?
Yeah, they have.
And now they have a reality show.
I don't know why they picked that up, but I mean, I don't know. I just feel like people keep going and going with this, and it is interesting to watch. Because they are really married. I don't know why I air quoted really married. Y'all missed that. They are married, and they do have to get an actual divorce. But this season should be interesting. The one girl is like 36, and all she keeps talking about is, I really just want someone to have a baby with. I really just want someone to have a baby with. I really just need one. I'm like, yo, we fucking get it. You could have went to an adoption agency.
Yeah, seriously. That's why. So I personally have been like super baby crazy for like 2 years, and it's not healthy because A, I'm single, and B, I'm 28 and I don't have a house and I don't have a car and I'm going back to school and it's really stupid. But I have said like,
at least you've rationalized that.
Oh yeah, like I know it's ridiculous. It's just the biological clock is like yelling at me. I don't know. So
you could go get a cup and have someone put their sperm in it and you can get pregnant.
I could do that, but I'm thinking really I'm leaning towards like, because dating is so stressful and really it's like I don't feel like I need to have the relationship first necessarily, you know? So it's like I really think I'm just going to get to the point where I'm going to adopt. And like adopting as a single parent I know is tough because I may or may not have already done research on it. But
sounds like you did.
But yeah, when I hear people say like I just want someone to have a baby with, I'm like, so get a baby, God.
My friend was telling me today because like she's kind of like going through this tragic thing in her life, and she's just like, I'm not married, I don't have kids, and then so she said that she was like up late at night like researching adoption. She's like, do you know that it's like a three-year waiting list for international, and then if it's domestic it's I'm like, whoa. She's like, we need to get on the list now, Jen. I was like, damn.
It's complicated. Well, there's so many different avenues to adopt. If you do private adoption, it takes forever. If you do like foster to adopt, you get a kid like tomorrow.
Yeah, you literally get a kid like tomorrow. But the problem is,
it's just the kid can get taken away from you if their parents get their shit together, basically. So
that, and it's so scary. You really don't know what you're getting.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know why. I don't know if how much they allow you to know before you agree to take the kid in.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like even if you're like, oh, okay, so what, his mom was addicted to crack and his dad was abusive. Like, you may get that kid and absolutely fall in love with him, even though he might burn your house down tomorrow. Then you're like fucking screwed.
That's
you know?
fair.
Because you're like, oh, but I love him, and I can fix him.
Oh no,
You can't.
I can't fix anybody. Okay.
I get paid to try to fix these kids, and it's not working. I'm telling you. So I don't know. I would do the foster to adopting though, or I don't know about the foster to adopt because my friend went through it, and I kind of saw like the court she had to go to all the time and the struggle, and then the parents like tried to kind of stay in their life, and she tried to like be okay with it, but then like the mom was like posting pictures like it was still her kid. She was taking them from her Facebook, and I'm like, that's all I need is some like crazy bitch to show up to my house like I'm taking him back. Like, no, you're not. You're not happening.
Well, I do have a friend who was adopted. He's Latino, and he was adopted by like this old white Jewish couple, and
Is his name Brett?
No.
Oh.
He no, it's not.
Like, he's so nice.
But he has like a really good relationship with his birth mom, and then like she passed away, and he posts this really beautiful
Are
tribute
you
to
sure
her.
that's not his name?
I'm like really sure. Maybe this happens a lot.
Like, so far, the story is spot on.
Well, his name is Danny.
Is he from upstate New York?
No, he's from Pennsylvania.
Now you lost me.
No, but it's like, but he's like, and he like goes to like the UN and like makes like speeches and presentations, and he's like the first Latino PhD student at Penn State or something, and he's like, he's like making waves. He's such a badass, and it's insane. And like he was like foster to adopt, I'm pretty sure. So sometimes, yeah, I don't know.
One of the guys from Queer Eye was adopted, and like one of the stories on this season of season 2 was about like a aunt that kind of like took in her nephew and raised him as her own because the mom couldn't, or for whatever reason. And like he kind of opened up and talked about like what a blessing that is for people to do that, and like he was adopted, and he really appreciated it. And I was like, oh, that was nice.
Yeah.
And I think like when my boyfriend sees stories like that, he's kind of like, oh, it would be a good thing. And I'm like, yeah, asshole. Like, you don't have to be like closed off to it, because it's like a kid doesn't have to look like you for it to be yours.
No,
you know what I mean?
absolutely not.
So
I guess too, the fostering stage is kind of, you are getting to know the kid.
Right.
You see the kid with like homicidal tendencies.
you can be like,
you can be like,
not this one.
Yeah, it's not
Right.
for me. Yeah.
But then that gives, there's somebody looking out for the kid who can step in, and not necessarily they're the ones to do something, but if they don't have anyone else looking out for them, then no one will know. So I don't know. So I guess today's topic is adoption. Just kidding.
Actually, today's episode is episode 121. What happened to my thing? It's allegedly a man's world. Are you attracted to a sexist man? Or are you, to sexist men. Sorry. My thing split it up, and
it could be a sexist man. Maybe he's the first one you met, and now
you're
you're madly in love with him.
like, this
The
is
first
mine.
sexist man you've ever met?
So this topic kind of came about because I had posted an article on Facebook, and then Brigid was like, oh my God, if you're talking about this, I have a lot to say about it. And then since then we kind of like pulled up some articles.
I like that second one that you sent me, because it like said some of the stuff that I was thinking.
The
independent one.
I'm trying to see if this is the one. That women are hardwired to find more well-meaning sexist men more attractive because they think they'd be protective.
The headlines were so similar. I know the one.
I know, because at first like you already sent me that one. I'm like, I don't think I did.
Right, because they were like the same thing, but they weren't. The one you sent me from the Independent was the one that it got some more perspectives towards the end and said some of the stuff that I've been thinking.
So the one article from Daily Mail, it's a UK publication, basically said the study preferred men who were chivalrous or protective. Men who were rated more attractive, those men were rated more attractive who treated women than those who treated women as equals.
Mm-hmm.
Scientists say it may be hardwired to prefer mates who are willing to provide. And even staunch feminists show the same pattern of attraction.
Yeah, okay, so I don't know this for sure, but I have heard, I think, that the Daily Mail is sort of like a glorified tabloid.
Oh. So you're not. So you don't give
So
a fuck what they say.
Well, that was sort of. I just don't know that the actual journalism is very responsible, and they're they may not have like crossed all their T's and dotted all their I's, so to speak. But I feel like I would have liked to have seen more examples of like questions and like what the test scenario was. Because
well, they did a test, I guess, from the University of Kent and Iowa State. They carried out 5 tests to explore the theory that women are more attracted to what they call benevolent sexists. Benevolent means well-meaning or kind, and experts define the sexism as men who, for example, think women are more delicate or should be cherished or looked after by a man. This is different to hostile sexism, in which women are degraded, such as saying women's places in the kitchen.
I mean, I think sexism is sexism, no matter which way you look at it. But I think part of it is like, if it's really like, do you want a man to pay for dinner or something like that? It's like, I don't know. Well, I guess it's more like the opening doors kind of thing. Like a man opens a door for a woman. Like that's not him being sexist. That's him not being an asshole. Like it's you hold doors for people. It's just polite.
And I think feminism has extremes like anything else.
Yeah.
Right.
And some people are extreme. I don't need you to hold the door for me. I don't need you to do this for me. I'm a woman.
Don't pull
just
out
because
my
I'm
chair.
a woman, I don't. And that's like the extreme part of it. Like I think like in the normal ranges of feminism, women just want like I want equal pay for doing the same exact job you do with the same exact degree with the same amount of experience.
Exactly.
I should get paid the same amount. That's what I'm asking. Like, and I think the men who were looked at as like their chauvinism was looked at as more kind, or the chivalrous men,
benevolent.
But they're equating like chivalry with I guess being sexist, which is not necessarily true.
Right.
Like you said, it's not necessarily true.
Yeah, it's just like I don't know. To me, like someone who's acting sexist is being a jerk. And so that's why I'm confused by the term benevolent sexism.
Right.
And
I didn't like the way they worded that. Yeah.
So it says that these are the things that women find attractive in men. Popularity. Men who appear more attractive if they're popular with other women, according to scientists. The theory is that women are especially attracted to men with partners because they are more likely to be kind and faithful, which makes them good mates. Well, then stay the fuck away from them. I don't understand that.
Right. And how are you more? I mean, if he's
He's
attracted
got a
to you
girlfriend.
back, then he's not faithful.
Right.
I mean, and he acts on it.
Money. Women are more likely to find men attractive if they think they have a bulging wallet. The new study has found. But for men, it's still all about looks. Muscles, when it comes to what women want. Muscular, tall men is a win out. A recent Australian study suggests. Are there muscular men in Australia besides Arnold?
In Australia?
Yeah.
Oh my God, they're like they have like man-eating spiders in Australia. I think everybody there has to be muscular.
Isn't Australia known for its beaches? Are they known?
They have so many climate zones in Australia.
Oh, okay.
It's
They have
like
sharks, kangaroos.
Because I was
they
thinking
have birds that fly out of the sky and attack you while you're
Oh
just
my
walking down
God.
the street. It's like it's in like another planet.
There's really no reason to go there.
my boyfriend was like, I want to go to Australia. He was like, see you. It's too much crazy stuff.
There's
It's
no
too
reason.
much crazy. I was like, that's like way out. That's not in the city part. He was like, I don't know.
Well, Jen, you're right. There's no reason to go there because they don't want you there. It's real. It's like it's hard.
Really?
Yeah, they won't let you move there unless you have like a job they consider valuable.
Oh,
And
wow.
it's like this
Wow.
whole thing.
So they said the scientists showed a group of 160 women. Scientists showed a group of 160 women photographs of shirtless, faceless men and asked them to give them an attractiveness rating. They said the men who looked strong with muscular arms or toned torsos did far better with the ones who worked a little less hard at the gym. And also they say that women find intelligence sexy, which I do. I think intelligence is pretty sexy. But,
Yeah.
I mean...
But they kind of went off the curb of sexist there.
Right.
And they talking about physical attraction.
Yeah.
Right.
Um.
Well, I don't remember with the articles. I think, April, you have it to pull up. I'm not sure.
Because looking at pictures of him doesn't let you know if he's sexist or not.
Right. So I don't think a male is sexist if he's like protective or a food provider.
Yeah.
Like-
Exactly.
And the thing is, too, I think people when like because you can't talk about sexist men without talking about feminism, right?
Right.
Feminists. So I feel like men tend to take things and run with it. They don't think abstractly. So they hear, I want equal rights, mean everything has to be equal all the time.
Right.
And that's impossible. It's not going to happen. And like, I don't know, I don't think tradition and equal rights are necessarily the same, on the same level.
Yeah.
Like, you being traditional doesn't have to necessarily mean you pick the sexist part of tradition.
Right.
If you're opening a door, if you're pulling out a chair, it's what your father taught you, it's what your mother taught you. That's home training. It's not necessarily I'm opening a door for you because you're too weak of a woman to open it yourself. It's what your parents taught you.
Yeah.
I hold the door for people.
So do I. Yeah,
I think,
absolutely.
and I think
I don't
that,
like when they don't say thank you.
Right, and I feel like some type of way when a guy opens the door and walks in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, what really makes me so all of this is fine. I will open a door for a man. Men open doors for me, whatever. But I get really annoyed when I open a door and then a man refuses to walk through it, and he holds the door behind me and makes me walk in first. And it takes more time.
Right.
To, like he refuses to let the woman hold the door.
Right.
It's just, it's like, okay, stop
Like,
being
it's
ridiculous.
really okay.
Yeah, please
Right.
just walk into the gym. It's fine. Okay, I really don't mind.
But some guys, well, yeah, I guess if you hold in the door, he could just walk on in, say thank you.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I want.
Like, just say thank you. That's it.
Yeah, like no. Instead, you have to stand there, hold the door, and make me go first.
I guess the
and, like,
sexist part is if they think, like, when it becomes like, well, a man's like, well, you're the woman, I'm supposed to hold doors, but you're supposed to be in the kitchen cooking. Like,
Obligation as opposed to preference.
right?
Like, I prefer to be a housewife rather than you're a woman. There's nothing else for you to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
There's, I mean, it's such a vicious cycle too, because like, a woman may, like, maybe she didn't go to college, or she like went to college for something that she can never get a job in, like art history or something. And
Sorry, art history majors.
okay, but you're all out there and listening, and you know you're like working at a bank. But it's like, it's totally possible that, you know, a woman is like, you know what, I want to have kids and stay home with my kids, and that's what I want. And that doesn't make her, like, that doesn't mean that woman can't be a feminist. You know, it means that that's her priority. As long as she's not saying other women have to go have careers, you know, then it's fine. It's if, like, a man tells her that she has to stay home. Like, that's the problem. But I think it's, like, that, and, you know, we're talking about, like, equal rights and accessibility to jobs and everything like that. It's easier for men to be breadwinners, so, like,
because they're getting paid more.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
So let them do it.
Right.
But I don't think, like, I don't know. I don't think it's sexist. Like, benevolent sexism is just, like, the Independent article called it an oxymoron, and I think it's
Right,
true.
they did.
Yeah.
And it sounds like something a man made up. It
Yeah,
honestly does.
it
Like,
does.
It sounds like, yeah. I don't think, but it's strange. I come across a lot of sexist women.
Oh, yeah, all the time.
And I think it starts, like, I wrote a blog post about it once because I was sitting listening to two coworkers talking, and the male coworker said, I don't understand why somebody bought my daughter a Nerf gun. And the female coworker said, why would you buy a girl a toy gun?
Mm-hmm.
And I was sitting in my chair seething
Yeah.
because I'm just like, why not?
Nerf Wars is awesome.
So I took a deep breath, and I was like, why can't she play
She's like,
with
I'm gonna blog about this so I don't stab anyone.
And I'm like, why can't she have that? Why? What about that makes her less girly, less of a girl?
Yeah.
Like, why can't she play with her Nerf gun and then go put on her sundress and her sandals? Why does she have to be confined to dolls and everything pink?
Right.
And
Right.
From my perspective, she'll, like, take all the boys out with her Nerf gun. She'll win, and that makes her more of a woman.
Right. She grow up, go play paintball, win again.
Yeah.
But it's like, why? But then you know, like, some people are very contradictory because then they'll tell their daughter, you live by yourself, you should have a gun. You wouldn't let me have a gun when I was 10.
There you go.
A fake
yeah.
one. But you know, like, it's almost like parents that are a little more narrow-minded are kind of setting you up to stay in these roles all the way up through.
See, but
you know?
I was only there was only one girl who lived on my block when I was a kid, and she was a Jehovah's Witness or born again. First she was Jehovah, then she was born again. They gave up on Jehovah. They're like peace. But she couldn't hang out with me because I said the F word. It happened. Say fuck a lot. So I hung out with all the boys on the street and my brother. And I built forts and made mud pies and went hiking and went fishing. But then I was a tomboy. Mm-hmm. Like, I was already immediately labeled, like, oh, she's a tomboy. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever that is.
Yeah, well, that in itself is a harmful term, I think. And I didn't think of it when I was a kid, but...
Right.
As you get older, you realize, yeah, it is.
Like, who is this Tom?
You're playing. Like, you're just playing.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Well, for me, it was my mom was so excited to have girls that she, like, everything was pink. And, like, I only wore dresses and I played with Barbies all the time. But then I realized, like, I got to, like, the playground and, like, the girls were really dramatic. And I really wanted to play with the boys because, like, they were playing kickball and, like, that looked awesome. But, like, the boys would only talk to you if you were a tomboy. Mm-hmm. But, like... I didn't necessarily, like, I didn't dress like a tomboy, like,
right.
Right.
So, I think that's, like, I don't know, that's how it starts.
I can dress myself, I'm putting jeans on, F this.
But it's like,
Sorry,
fun
Mom.
is fun.
Yeah.
You know
right.
what I mean?
Exactly.
When you're a kid, like, if we weren't told these things, we wouldn't start putting it together, putting
Exactly.
people in labels and categories, and we wouldn't
Right.
start doing that. But unfortunately, we're taught that, you're a girl, so you have to play with those toys, and you're a boy, so you have to play with these. And I realized a coworker of mine also, somebody brought up the fact that I don't know if Target did it. I think
They did do it, I think.
They took the gender names off the toy aisles.
And then people were boycotting Target because they did that.
Because
like,
they did
hell?
that.
Did they ever change Easy Bake Oven?
I don't know. I thought they made like a boys version of it.
I thought they made it like gender neutral color.
I saw one. I feel like I saw it in Cracker Barrel. I feel like it was pink.
Yeah, I think it's always been pink.
Yeah, it was always
Right.
pink, but then I think they made a non-pink one, and it
I
was
think
supposed to be
there
like
was,
for
like,
boys.
Make it orange.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is like the equivalent of making like razors for her, even though it's like the same fucking
The
razor, but
same
they made
razor,
it pink,
but
and they
it's pink.
The pink
charge an extra
tax.
50 cents. Yeah.
But I think
I'm
they.
hollering at Harry's Shave Club. I'm sorry. I got what is that called? Blue? I don't remember even what it's called now. But I bought these razors from this like female Harry Shave Club type company,
Right.
and they rust after the first use.
Ugh, that's too bad.
Wow.
And I don't have all that much hair to shave on my body.
Yeah.
I don't grow hair on my legs. I don't know
Right.
why. It's a freak nature.
Well, the whole like history of the razor industry is sexist to begin with because
Right.
they realized they were only selling products to half the population, so they decided to tell women they should shave their legs, and that's why we buy razors.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna post on the on our webpage, Dr. Nerdlove, who's been on the show before with Martini, he wrote an article about the toxic alpha male.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, like, I need to like get more into it, but he said it's like it's the mistaken sexual narrative. I guess saying that like it should be like a male's nature to be alpha, but it's not always. I guess, and
I don't know.
I'm trying to get to like the meat and potatoes of it. I don't know where. Too bad. He's like, too bad. It's all bullshit. He said the narrative that men are naturally promiscuous, the better to ensure the survival of their genetic line, while women are naturally monogamous, is the result of cultural fallacy dating back as far as Charles Darwin. Scientists and anthropologists of the time tended to use Western culture, morality, and the prism through which they viewed natural discoveries, a problem that occasionally crops up as a matter of fact. In the fact, the idea of sexual exclusivity of humans being concerned with genetic lineage and trying to raise another man's child is relatively recent development. Evolutionarily speaking, up until about 10,000 years ago, humans lived in a small, disparate communal groups with no real concept of individual ownership or even parentage. I don't know. I can't read today. So he's talking more about sexual relationships in this part of the article, but we were talking, I think April and I were talking about if like alpha male perspectives is more of like are more have a tendency to be like more sexist.
Yeah, I think they go hand in hand for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't really gravitate towards alpha males. So like,
What's an alpha male to you? Describe him. What does he do? How does he act?
Definitely bossy. Not necessarily center of attention. I feel like, I don't know.
Focuses a lot on his physical strength.
Probably. Defensive. Definitely very, very defensive. Even if they don't have to be.
Bossy as in controlling?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say so. See, I don't know, because like I didn't consider myself an alpha female until Jen called me one. But like I don't know if
You're welcome.
but I don't know if that means the same thing. Like if I'm
See, I don't know that I consider an alpha female. I mean an alpha male to be those things. I do think that they could be those things, but I think those are more traits of. See, there's that thin line again. Like I think alpha males. Not that anyone asked me.
I'm asking.
I think alpha males are sure of themselves. They don't necessarily have to be narcissistic, but I can see where sometimes it could be displayed as narcissistic.
Right. Yeah.
I think that's like pushing over the line towards a narcissistic alpha male. I think that they're sure of themselves. I think that they are kind of providers.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But they don't have to provide. But they can at least hold their own.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, so that's the other thing is it's like someone who's like an alpha in a relationship is not necessarily an alpha in a social setting.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like, so for me, I guess I just keep picturing someone who's like.
Did you have a definition for that, April, or no?
Not really, but I looked up, I guess we can use this as like a neutral. I mean, when I think of alpha males, the first thing that come to mind is like physical and mental strength.
Mm-hmm.
And protective, which leads to protective. That's what I first think about. But when I kind of just Googled it real quick just to see what I guess a general, like a general definition could be, like I guess this is what, I don't know where they get this from, but when you Google it, like a dictionary definition is a man tending to assume a dominant or domineering role in social or professional situations. And then when I click on this website that says alpha male characteristics, they list confident, have intangibles, which they put in parentheses, mentally tough, competitive. They have presence, and then they put below that size matters. Wow.
Ooh, okay.
Strong body language, meaning how they stand, how they walk, what they look at, where their hands are.
I agree with that.
Swagger. Position themselves.
Yeah.
Knows where to stand and be seated to be in a powerful position. Ever wonder why the head of the table sits at the head of the table?
Right.
Wow.
Dominant.
I sit at the
take
head of the table.
chances.
Yeah, I like to do that too.
Alpha males get the girl, vocal and loud, strong eye contact, aren't afraid to get physical, calm under pressure, know how to dress, strong, non-reactive, do not need external validation. That's an important one.
Well, so I think that is an important one. Except all the men I know that I would guess would like try to act like an alpha male really still want the validation. And I think that's like...
I think everybody does.
Yeah.
But not to the point where you depend on it.
Right.
Like, it's nice to have a partner that says, oh, you look nice in that.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, okay, good. I wasn't sure. Or like, like a friend telling you your hair looks nice or something.
Right.
And you say thank you. But some people need it to get by.
Yes. Yeah.
What were some of the other things that you had looked up?
Oh, just definitions, because sometimes we all have like a definition in our minds of what something is.
Right. Yeah.
So I was just looking up like what these other, like just what it said. If I just Googled like feminism, I Googled feminism and they.
Oh yeah, that's a mixed bag, I'm sure.
They defined it as the advocacy of women's rights on the basis of the equality of the sexes.
That's pretty general.
I looked up. I think this is the one that won't open. I looked up chauvinistic, and I thought it was interesting that when you look in the list of synonyms for chauvinistic, racist is one of the
Really?
synonyms.
I think that.
And
I mean, they'd probably go hand in hand.
right, and I never equated the two in my mind.
Right.
Like, but that's one of the synonyms. I thought xenophobic
Yeah.
was one of the synonyms. Ethnocentric,
I think definitely, at least in our current political climate, the two definitely are related.
flag waving,
Yeah.
excessively nationalistic,
Wait, this is a
excessively
synonym for
patriotic,
what?
chauvinistic,
Oh, wow.
excessively patriotic,
Well, so that's
And they
excessively patriotic.
and they defined it as
You notice how it's been a bad thing to be patriotic lately?
and they described it as showing or relating to excessive or prejudiced loyalty
Yeah.
or support for a particular group or cause. But it doesn't particularly say women. I thought
Right.
chauvinist was
I
men
thought
who
it
didn't
was-
like women.
Yeah, I
particularly.
thought chauvinist and sexist were the same thing, but I guess maybe they're.
I did too.
Yeah, maybe it's not mutually exclusive like that.
As the noun, they called it a person displaying aggressive or exaggerated patriotism as an adjective.
Interesting. So that's definitely like a word I think that has shifted in meaning over time.
So the question, ladies, is do you think that... I don't think that anyone in this room is guilty of that. Or maybe we have been in the past. But do you think that, in general, women are more attracted to these men? And why?
I kind of wish they'd done the study on me, just so I can know. I guess I'm sort of curious. I
I wonder
guess
what
so.
the survey looks like. Like,
Yeah.
what do you, like...
That's
What
what I'm
questions
wondering.
did they
Yeah.
ask?
Because I'd like to say no, but if maybe it depends on how they phrase the questions. Like, I don't know. I don't want to be a sole provider. That's like impossible in today's economy. So
Right.
I would love to have like a partnership where it's two people contributing, but I don't want to be like a homemaker.
Like, if they say, do you
So-
find it attractive if a man provides for you? Like, yeah, it's attractive, but, like, it's not a necessity.
And now all providers are sexist.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would be the question. Would be it would be really interesting to know what questions they asked.
Right, exactly. That's what I
Think about when you
see.
go... all right, think about... I mean, my bar days were a long time ago. But, like, not that long. Let's be crazy. Let's just say, like, think about when you used to, like, go to the bars or the clubs or wherever you go to, like, pick up men, the library, Scrabble tournaments, whatever. Like, what men do you think you... I guess there was, like, a thin line, but, like, what men do you think, like, you would gravitate towards? Like, are you gravitating towards a guy who, like, dances good and has, like, friends and looks well-liked? Or are you gravitating towards, like, the weirdo in the corner?
Based on the definition of alpha male, I'm gravitating towards the alpha male.
Right.
The guy that's got a little swag. The guy that's standing there looking like, I don't care if I'm
Right.
by myself. If you talk to me or don't talk to me. Like, I would gravitate toward that guy. The guy who's maybe shy, small, not like looking scared,
Confident
I wouldn't.
I guess.
What if he quietly started a sorry, I feel
No.
like I keep interrupting you.
No,
I'm so
no.
sorry. What if he quietly, like, started a conversation with you and you're like, oh, he's mad cool, but a little weird. And maybe,
Well, why does it gotta be weird? That's
and maybe he meows sometimes. I don't know.
what?
I'm regressing to my past relationships.
You're regressing to my past relationships.
I think
Wait, you dated guys who meow too?
we'll take this off the air.
Was he from New York?
No. I mean, yeah, but no.
can weird mean creepy?
That's what I'm
Kinda,
wondering. Because
right?
you're making it seem like the only option is the alpha male or like the fucking creepo in the corner.
Did anybody see patty cakes? I don't know.
No.
I don't know when I'm raising my hand.
Yes, Jennifer.
All right, never mind. There's this guy in patty cakes. he's like really creepy. He hangs out in the gates of hell, which apparently is in Clifton, and it's like this like bunker in a cemetery. He like makes beats in there.
Oh Jesus! No, not talking to him.
He was kind of hot. Anyway, moving on. So maybe I'll find the weird guy, but I don't know that I like beta. I don't know. I might be stuck with.
Yeah,
beta
I just
now.
think it's like there's the alpha male, and I don't know, someone who's like the alpha male. I usually assume that they're like pompous and like I might be like, oh, okay, he's cute, and like feel the the gravitational pull maybe, but like I guess I've just had bad experiences, so I would probably not be into that. But like the guy, like there's also, if a guy is with a group of friends, you know, not all of those guys are going to be alphas. There's probably going to be someone in that group who's like enjoying themselves, but maybe like stands back from the crowd a little bit, or like it doesn't necessarily have to be like the guy who's like being creepy in the corner and like just staring at women's butts and stuff, you know, like because I feel like that guy definitely exists. But yeah, I don't know, like a guy who's like kind of on his own and is like definitely like maybe a little socially awkward, as long as he's not like being creepy,
Right.
then
right.
I could
roll with that.
see that happening. But that's more because like when I'm in a social situation, when people are uncomfortable, it makes me uncomfortable. So I want to like include people, I guess, in that sense. Like I want, like it makes me feel like I need to reach out. So
everyone in this room knows Noble Casalupis, and he's been on the show, and I'm rolling my eyes. Hey, Noble. He was like a self-proclaimed alpha male. To him, he said he was an alpha male.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think he has a bag of insecurities that he will never admit to, but
he also commented on under a Bed Love Beyond post that even though he's not sexist, he said women tend to think he is,
which means he's sexist.
Right.
I think that was the same article.
Well,
right?
It might have been.
I think it was, because
it might have been that article. Yeah.
Yeah, because I definitely saw that comment, and
Right.
I was about to like reply to it, but I was like, you know, maybe not.
Go for it. I encourage you. Just have a drink nearby, stiff one.
Yeah, I was definitely like literally. I'm not sexist, but women seem to think I am.
He is sexist because I can.
It
remember
means he's sexist
a
if women think he's
specific
sexist.
time that like he had come to visit, and I like made him dinner, and I like he was like sitting at like the couch with like a tray when I lived in Newark for my brief stint while I was going to grad school, and I brought him the food, and I said something to him in reference to the food or something, and he went shh shh shh. I was like,
Oh,
I might stab you.
Oh,
I might stab you.
with a rusty steak knife.
Oh,
I'm like,
no.
did you just shush me? Cause you,
After you made him dinner,
yeah, and I was just like,
I would have kicked him out of the house.
I was just like,
Nope.
what's happening right now?
And I particularly remember a conversation we all had on our way to Nyack,
Oh my God.
where we referred to as
April was.
you women. If and,
Oh
and
my God.
here's
April was
any
gonna, like,
any
lose
men
her shit.
any men that's listening, if you tend to refer to women as you women, you're probably sexist.
Right.
Probably are.
How do you know if you're a
Just want to
sexist?
let you know that.
One.
Oh,
You
jeez.
start off sentences with you women.
Oh. And if you call women females, also, there's also that, which I noticed Martini's brother during our like intervention episode, he kept like starting to say the word females, but then like would stop mid-word and say women instead, which means somebody has corrected him before, and he's
or
like
he
trying
knows
to
it's
make,
wrong to say in front of women.
right. So he's
stopped
like trying to
himself.
make the effort, and I was like, I appreciate that he's making the effort at least.
I like Randy, but he's sexist. But I said it
for sure.
I said it to his face
You
when
for
we
sure
were all
did.
here.
It was excellent.
Yeah, I said it.
She said
Because
it was excellent.
I don't think he knows. I don't
Martini's
think
one of
he
my
know.
best friends, so I've like felt a little weird about like
Going off on his brother.
shitting on his brother, you know.
One thing about Randy, I don't think he's intentionally sexist.
No.
I
Right,
think he
yeah.
doesn't know.
Right.
I think it's like an unconscious thing. He just
So you think that
doing
men
it.
can be subconsciously sexist, maybe like how they were raised?
I
or-
think
Right.
I think the vast majority of sexist men don't realize that they're sexist, and that's
Right.
why they're still sexist.
Right.
Right.
That's why like extreme feminists are not helping the issue because they're not being, I guess, sympathetic to the fact that it's going to be a massive reality check for a man to realize that he's sexist, and by just like coming off on like being very defensive before they have the chance to learn, it's just going to make them hate feminists rather than being willing to like look at themselves, you know?
Right.
And focusing on little things that takes away from the big stuff. Like if you're talking about holding doors and pulling out chairs, you're taking away from the equal pay and promotions. And that's the important stuff.
Like
being able to go get your tubes tied without the doctor saying your husband have to sign.
Yeah, that kind of stuff
bothers me.
Yeah,
to
like,
no end.
Reproductive rights.
And legally he doesn't. Like I looked it up. Your husband,
like,
if you're listening and you thought your husband had to sign, bullshit. Yeah. I read a guy said he refused to sign. He was like, it's my wife's body, and I'm not going to sign anything saying I'm giving my permission.
Of course he's married.
She doesn't need my permission. She doesn't need my permission. It's her body. If she want to tie a tube, she's the one got to carry the baby if she gets pregnant. So it's up to her if she wants her tubes tied, which is how it should be.
It's a little sad that she's having her tubes tied, though, because that means they're not going to raise feminist children.
But I think they had like 2-3 kids.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's cool.
They had
Some
like
people have to do it for like medical reasons.
Right,
so.
yeah.
But I think, they had children already, though. And this was the last kid. And she's like, all right.
All right, that's enough.
3's enough, yeah. But look, I looked up the definition of sexist. And they said, relating to or characterized by prejudice, stereotyping, or discrimination, typically against women on the basis of sex.
I like that it says typically against women, because you can be sexist against men. That's totally possible.
And I think that
like if I say you're the guy, you have to take out the garbage. That's being sexist.
Yeah.
No, I don't do that.
I would say
it just happens here, though.
I would say that if he started with you're the woman, you should cook dinner, and you can say, okay, well you're the man, so you can take out the garbage. Like then I get
that's
it,
just fun banter.
Yeah, exactly.
Since we're putting ourselves into social roles here.
Yeah. While you're at it,
I think alpha has a negative connotation, which it shouldn't necessarily have.
I guess that's true. Yeah,
it carries with it because, like, I've met guys who I think are alpha males, but they're not cocky or sexist, or they're just confident in who they are as a man, and they protective of their family and their providers.
Right.
But they don't see women as weak or incapable.
Right. That's the important part.
Was it Dr. Nerdlove, right? Was it him who was talking about they're like alpha males, beta males, and then was it like alphas with beta tendencies and betas with alpha tendencies?
I believe that was him, yeah.
And how like the best man to have is an alpha male with beta tendencies, and the worst is a beta male with alpha tendencies.
Right, 'cause you're like trying to show your balls every now and
then.
then.
Yeah, even though like you don't have the like the like presence of an alpha, you still have the like audacity to.
What I have.
No.
And I think, you can alpha females get a bad rap because I feel like they're looked at as just females
bitchy.
who, bitch about everything, don't want a man's help with anything. I don't need you. I don't, very put off. And really, an alpha female is just a woman who's holding it down. She doesn't need you. She wants you.
And that should be more important.
And that should be, and a man should want that. If you want a woman who needs you, something's messed up somewhere.
Absolutely.
Because why? Like, but then men tend to. I think some men do tend to be attracted to women who need them.
Yeah,
but
men
are quick to call women gold diggers.
Yeah.
Well, she's a gold digger because she needs your money.
Right.
And isn't that what you want? Somebody who needs your money. She needs your lifestyle. She needs your help living that way. So, but I think, some alpha females are they're not out to put you down. They're not man haters. They're just good without you.
Yeah, they
I
just
don't know
need
if
you.
it's sexist or not, but as an alpha female, I've been told a few times that I guess I don't know, self-proclaimed or whatever.
Oh, you for sure are an alpha female. There are no shades of gray on that one.
At least 119 out of these 121 episodes, you might have mentioned it.
Anywho, do you think that alpha women can be emasculating? And
Some, not all.
Is that being
I don't think
sexist?
that's necessarily a trait of it.
Right.
Right.
I think that an alpha male might consider an alpha female emasculating.
Good point.
But I feel like two alphas don't really mesh well in the first place.
Yeah. No.
I think too, if she has the wrong idea of what being an alpha female is, she
Right.
might be emasculating. She might feel like maybe this is what I have to do to make you believe that I don't. You know what I mean? That I don't need you, like extreme.
I think
going
sometimes-
to the extreme.
I know I have a tendency to like be a leader, but then like if you're not following fast enough, I'm like, snap to it. So I think that can be a little like intimidating.
But then other things factor into, like, if you have an alpha female and her mother was alpha, like, and her grandmother was an alpha female, so then you're taking traits from those women who grew up in a different time.
Right.
They grew up in a time with men who probably don't say nothing.
Right.
Or or they grew up in a time with men who shut them down all the time. So here they are now in 2018, not giving a fuck with their big ass mouths. And here you come a little girl and you like my mother don't play. They don't take shit.
I remember
and so
like one
here you go.
Thanksgiving, my grandfather was like, a woman should never run this country. And this was even before Hillary was like alive. I mean, whatever. And my grandma was like, shut the fuck up, Leo.
I love it.
I was like, and he's like, no, Rosie, I'm saying this and I'm going to say it at the table. I'm like, what?
Oh, wow.
And she's like, shut up, you don't know what you're talking about.
That's hilarious.
And that's how I was raised. I was just
So it's like
what?
you see these women who they probably saw their mothers a little submissive. Or Susie Homemaker, and they're like, fuck that, I ain't doing it. And then here, our generation comes along, we see that, and we're like, you know, that's where we getting that from.
Right.
You know, that kind of strength, that loud mouth, that no holds bar attitude, like that's who you get that from. Women who saw a different country than what we see. And then we're dealing with guys they don't come from that era. They're not just gonna just be quiet and just be like, oh, that's just how she is. Like, probably not. They're gonna look at it as an attack.
Yeah, that's an excellent point.
And I think it's okay for women to be attracted to alpha males, but I think that if you find them being sexist, I think it's okay to call them on it and say,
exactly.
like, that's kind of sexist, dude. No.
Yeah.
I've called Johnson on it plenty of times.
You're like you.
I'm like, what? Because, like, one thing he says, which he'll probably laugh if he listens to this, if, like, a girl's in, like, a muscle car, he'll be like, that's probably her boyfriend's car. I'm like, what? Why it gotta be her boyfriend car? Why? And then, like, why?
I've been in 2 Mustangs in my life, and they were both owned by women. So
right. I'm like, why does that? Like, are you assuming she doesn't know about cars?
Yeah.
She doesn't. Like, what if she's, you know, like some
What are women supposed to drive?
Some women's fathers.
But
like,
haven't you heard
taught
women
them.
can't drive?
Oh. I forgot.
I don't know. How did I get here?
I wish I would have thought of Amanda. She could have. There's a young lady I know, and she works in a tire shop.
Oh, yeah?
And she's the only girl there. She could have had
Told us some stories.
Yeah, but I think she deals with some things in there.
I'm sure.
Yeah, she deals with some things in there.
Ooh.
She probably
She's like,
had
were
an
you
interesting.
the secretary? Can you tell them to?
Mhm.
Can you tell them when they do my tires to rotate them? She'll be like, oh, I'll rotate them.
And she'll
like,
get that. You working here? You work here?
That's what we call mansplaining.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's doggy dog world. But I like the main topic was about women being attracted to sexist men, and I think some of the articles have some validation.
Sure.
I especially think when you're younger, you know, you're like, oh, he's just being funny. Like, maybe not even us, but I've seen women do it. I know I've been to, like, clubs and bars with women, and, like, you know, why can't I buy you a drink? Like, you have to buy me a drink? First of all, I don't know if you roofied it. I'm not tasting it.
Exactly.
So,
Without being labeled aggressive, I think it's horrible when men call women who are assertive aggressive.
right.
Like if she offers to buy you a drink, so she's thirsty or she's desperate
Right,
or
right.
maybe she was just ordering herself and one was like, "You want one?"
Yeah.
Like why is that considered aggressive? Like you're supposed to just sit there with your legs crossed waiting for men to talk to you? That's insane. But men label women aggressive if they talk to them first or ask for their number.
So stupid.
You can't ask a man to marry you. Only if it's
Oh, fuck that.
Only if it's leap year, according to that movie.
I actually wrote that down because the other day on the Breakfast Club on 105.1 they brought up proposing to, because I think they had somebody from a reality show. I don't know if it was Ink Crew.
Black Ink Crew?
It was some reality show where the woman proposed to the man on the show.
Probably in Chicago.
And he was like, get up, get up, get up. No, that's my job.
oh.
And he stopped her. and was
Automatic no. Okay, never mind. I
like- he's
retract
like,
it.
"That's-" And they were on the show. So I didn't hear their interview, but the next day they were like, oh, so-and-so was on our show. And it came up, what do you think about women proposing to men? And then Charlamagne's response was, I think if women want equality, there should be no problem with a woman getting down on her knees and proposing to a man.
Yeah.
And I don't think anything's wrong with it if that's what you choose to do.
Right.
But I don't think it should be brought up in a discussion about equality. Because to me, equality is about legal rights, legal stuff. To me,
Right.
like more legal stuff. Like, I think it kind of trivializes the legal stuff a bit.
That's true.
Because it's like there's bigger issues than that. But like, I don't think tradition. That's more so tradition. Like,
Right.
do you want to stick to tradition or you want to be?
You want to break it.
Yeah.
Well, because
you
if
wanna
we really want to be traditional, my father's going to sell me to someone.
Right.
And you might get a goat out of it, Dad.
And you have a dowry. But it's like I don't think that tradition and equal rights under the law
Right.
is the same thing.
True, yeah.
Like, because you could want equal pay, but want your man to take out the garbage. I don't want to take out the garbage. I want you to take it out. That doesn't mean you don't want equal pay.
Like, it's mostly your garbage.
Right. That doesn't mean you think you
What's
should.
fair is fair.
Right. Like,
It's like, you won't wash a plate, so you use the paper ones. So
Right.
you can take the garbage out.
it's like balance. Like, I don't think the two. Not that it's less important, but you know.
And I
I don't
that's
think
when,
that
like,
should be brought up when it comes to equal rights. Women wanting equal rights. Well, you want equal rights, you should propose. Like, no, that doesn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah.
You seem
Because she's
conflicted.
not the first woman to propose to her man. So,
Right. I think it's
leap year.
this one with the leap year.
no, I'm not conflicted because I agree, like it's definitely less of an important issue. I just think that for a woman to say I want equal pay, but also you have to propose to me, like I just think it's important for women to understand that like they can have it all. Like,
Right.
you know.
Right.
Or it's a matter of choice. Like, I don't think a supervisor should have should have the right to choose. I'm gonna pay men more than I pay women just because they're men.
Right.
They
Absolutely.
shouldn't have that choice. But a couple should have a choice. A couple should have a choice of, I don't care who proposes. I don't care if it's me. I
Absolutely.
don't care if it's you. It's about choice.
Yeah.
Like, you have the choice to choose who's going to take out the garbage in your house, who's going to work, who's going to stay home, or both people work or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like when it comes to like equal pay and promotion and hiring and things like that, that shouldn't be somebody's choice.
Right.
That should be the law.
Right.
Like,
Absolutely.
Yeah. But obviously, men should kind of rethink trying to put you in line
Yes.
with
Yeah.
100 years ago and keep you there.
Right.
Keep
Of
you
course,
there.
they should rethink
There's
it.
so many of our like coupling traditions that are just
Antiquated.
stupid anyway.
And nobody even knows where they came from. It's like weddings.
I think
Well,
I
like,
read it on
marriage-
some episode where some of the stuff came from. I forget, we had a marriage episode,
Yeah.
but I don't remember that.
Weddings in the first place were like they were business transactions. Like it wasn't even about romance. Like
Right.
it was about like combining territories or
Keeping
like,
families rich,
right.
basically.
Yeah, like
marrying the rich with the rich and keeping the money.
that kind of thing.
Mhm.
Yeah. And that's why it was like totally chill to have mistresses back then. So it's
You're like, I didn't sign up for this, really. They did. So
Yeah.
this is what I want.
now it's like, and honestly, the reason you get married now is really just like hospital visit rates. Honestly, I think is like really the only benefit.
I mean, yeah. I mean, money, taxes.
Money-wise.
Well, aren't
Mhm.
isn't it worse to be married when you're doing your taxes? I don't know, never been married, but
I think
Oh.
it depends on the incomes.
oh,
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
health insurance.
Health insurance.
I actually, my OkCupid for a while said might marry for health insurance.
Wait, is that an option now?
No, I wrote that in my profile. I was like, oh wait, I'm 27. I'm not on my parents' insurance anymore.
And
I was freelancing at the time, so
I don't know if it's all states, but I think in some states, if you're not married, your children are like technically or legally illegitimate.
Oh wow.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Like
You were saying something about like there's 2 different piles for birth certificates.
Yeah, they go to 2 different offices if your married parents are unmarried.
I'm just picturing like one office is like this bright shiny white marble office, and the other one is like a basement with like an old
Right.
broken filing cabinet.
Baby mamas this way.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh man, but
Get a couple single dads up in there
Yeah.
trying to holler.
like I'm saying though.
Oh my goodness. Well, anybody have any final thoughts about this?
I don't know. Did we solve sexism?
Dude.
I think
Wasn't that the goal?
I think alphas can are often seen as sexist, and same way the other way.
Right.
Sexist tend to have alpha tendencies. Sexists always have alpha tendencies, and alphas can be seen as sexist even if they aren't.
Oh, I don't know. Have you heard of the incel movement?
No.
No, what's that?
Oh, we could do a whole other show on that, I think.
Well, do tell him. We'll think about it.
So incel stands for involuntarily celibate.
What?
Or involuntary celibacy or whatever. And it was like this whole like Reddit phenomenon of like just men.
If you understand Reddit, let's talk later because I don't know.
I don't understand Reddit, but I know it's like a jungle. It's a jungle out there. But they it's basically men who the quote unquote nice guy. So it's like they're doing everything right. It's just the problem is women. And
What?
that like, I'm a nice guy. I've never done anything that I do everything nice. I'm like so nice to people, and women just don't want to date me because I'm not like an alpha or like that kind of thing, which is why sometimes I would get nervous that Martini might be one of those.
I wasn't gonna say anything.
I think you're on the right track there.
I feel like the past few years I've been like trying to pull him away from that.
Well, he did text me last night to tell me that hiking girl got married with a after it.
Whatever. So I
For
think
those who are still wanting to be updated on Martini's life.
yeah. Who could be updated on Martini's life if he doesn't update people on his life?
Right.
Which he doesn't do.
And this category sound like a bunch of men who are not
Taking responsibility.
have any insight into what are you doing.
Absolutely.
That
And
everything goes wrong with you with every woman you meet.
right, and I imagine a lot of them live in their mom's basements with neck beards. It's just like the look. But,
I feel like you just described my brother.
no, I'm sorry.
No, I think he takes responsibility for his singleness.
Yeah, I can send you so much stuff on it. It got so bad that Reddit actually had to remove.
Oh, they had a whole category for that.
Oh yeah, there was like a whole incel community on Reddit, and Reddit had to get rid of it because it was like so inflammatory. It was really bad.
Wow.
But yeah, there are all these hilarious YouTube videos of a guy who just like dramatically reads the posts from these men, and it's that was so.
Now this is
so
different than the other thing, MGTOW, right?
Oh, that
Men going their own way.
I have to be honest, I didn't listen to that episode.
I think it sounds like it's a little
It's-
different because it's more like men feel like women are like damaging them, like they could take their whole life away if they get divorced.
Oh yeah,
like
definitely.
that.
Yeah, I think the problem is that incels haven't gotten to that point yet because no one will date them.
Oh.
They ain't even close to marriage.
They haven't gotten that far yet.
Right.
Nobody want to take you, so nobody want you.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So I think, I think alphas can be perceived as sexist because of their demeanor,
Mm-hmm.
that they're usually physically strong or
Right.
bigger or confident or leaders,
Machismo.
while sexists all are not confused with alphas. They just either trying to be or are or trying to. They always show those traits.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think that's why women are attracted to them. Just like you could be attracted to an alpha male that's not necessarily sexist. You're gonna be attracted to a sexist if he has alpha male traits.
Okay.
So if you see and then I notice sexists when they're giving their sexist point of views, they're very confident.
Right.
That's
They
true.
They
stand
believe
very
it.
strong in their beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
And then they spout all the, protector of my family, take care of my family, take care of my wife stuff.
Right.
Which, you really have to dig deeper in that. Are you going to feel taken care of 5 years from now if your opinion is not heard?
Yeah.
Right.
If your opinion is not heard, if you're expected to just stay home and stay quiet, you have to, because, it could sound cute at first. It could sound like, I'm only working because I have to. My husband provides. That can be cute at first until you're expected not to do anything else.
Right.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
I do get how women could be attractive for those reasons.
Yeah, I know. Well, I have these friends who I love them dearly, and they got married about a year ago, and I hope they never listen to this. They had a baby who's like about 10 months old now, and I'm starting to notice some very sexist patterns in their dynamic, which is really weird because they never seemed like that kind of couple before, until now that like she's always the one holding the baby, and like if he's holding the baby, he'll just be like, he's like, oh, maybe you should take him, it'll be easier, and she'll be like, oh yeah, sure, and then like,
Easier for who?
exactly. And it's
Baby, do you
tough.
mind?
And I know she's like very bonded with this kid, where she like, I think she gets anxiety about having other people hold him, so I think it's partially her. She's like very in her mama bear mode right now. But so it's like a mix of him not stepping up, but her not asking him to, and it's like, and so I'm like, I'm trying to hold my tongue for now, just seeing, like, because they're still kind of getting their groove, I guess, because they're young, they're my age. So I like, and it's like, it's not really my business, but I also like, I care about them, and I don't want to see things like go badly for them, especially now they have a kid.
Right.
So it's and I'm also not a parent, so like I can't like criticize anyone's parenting if I haven't been through it, So it's but like it's like exactly what April was saying, like, maybe at first everything was fine, and then like, the negatives come out of the woodwork.
I know that there's times where I've like heard stories of like men like not wanting to be so involved in the beginning because the baby, I don't know, you said 10 months old. I mean, that's like still kind of like,
yeah, he's
in
little.
the fragile stage.
He's not even walking yet, so
But I mean, I think like when kids become more like pliable, that's even a thing. Like dads are like less afraid to touch them. I've heard
that too, where the men are like, I'm gonna step up when he's older, like,
right. Yeah, I don't like when guys say that. I've heard guys say that before, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh, well, when I can throw a ball with him, what? He needs to know who you are now.
So when it's
Exactly.
convenient for you
Right.
and
Right.
it suits you, that's when you
Right.
And that's important to me, like, because I'm bisexual, so it's like I'm not necessarily going to end up with a man, but I probably will, because like women don't like dating women in this area. It's like so weird. But
New York City might bring different things.
yeah, maybe. But like I was telling you before, there's like this whole, like I think the last time I was on, there's like this whole thing that I just learned about where lesbians don't like bisexual women, and like we're discriminated against too. It's like awesome. But it's like I'm looking. I never used to think about it, but now I'm really thinking about like someone who's going to be a good co-parent.
Right.
And it's like, so if I'm not gonna, if
she
there's,
came here last week, we were talking about how dating in your 20s is different from dating in your 30s.
I know that
now
was your topic.
Now you think about those things.
Yeah.
Like, will this person be a good parent?
Exactly.
That's a good point. We didn't even think about that.
Well, there you go. Follow up to last week's episode. So that's like the kind of thing I think about now, and it's like if I get the vibe that a man's gonna be like, okay, well you handle the first 2 years, and then I'll step in. It's a no-go for sure. Because I'm still gonna, maternity leave, but then I'm gonna work,
Right.
It's like, so yeah, it's got to be a team effort for sure.
So, in your opinion, why are women attracted to sexist guys, and why?
I think some women can be and not realize that that's what it is. Like you were saying that sexists come across very confident. But yeah, I think.
Maybe it's not the sexist part they're attracted to, but those
right.
alpha traits that he's showing.
Absolutely.
Through it,
and I think that's okay as long as, like, when he says something sexist, you call him on it. And,
right.
Kind of, I'm not saying, like, degrade him, but, like, let him know, like, that's a shitty thing
but
to say.
But that's part of the problem, though, is some women won't do that because it's like the three of us in this room are very confident and like we'll speak our mind and I wasn't always like that. I mean, one of my first episodes was about emotional abuse, and I was in a relationship where I didn't feel like I could speak up. So I think that's why like this topic and the fact that research is proving that women might be attracted to sexist men, it makes me nervous because there are women who will be like, it'll be good at first, and then they'll start making excuses because it's like, oh well, he's just providing and he's just being protective.
That toxic men just being men.
Yeah, exactly. So
it's called toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
I think that was the other article too. We'll put that up.
But yeah, so I think I don't think it's harmless, and I just feel like it was irresponsible journalism in the first place, and that there should have been multiple sources, and that we should have been provided more content about.
And I'd like to know the questions that they ask women.
Exactly. That's what I want to know.
Maybe we can find that and send out a survey to our listeners.
Yeah, it sounds like it was like a British-based thing because I believe the Independent is also based in the UK.
Were both articles from the Daily UK?
Well, the Daily Mail was the first one,
Daily Mail.
and then the other one you sent me was from the Independent, which I think is also based in the UK. So maybe that might be why we haven't really heard about it.
Maybe British men are just really sexist.
I mean,
I've never been there.
They can get away with it because they're so polite and their accents are so sexy. So.
Maybe Idris is really being an asshole and we just don't know it.
Yeah, it's like, I'm sorry, I wasn't listening to what you were saying, just how you were saying.
What do you think, Jen? Why?
I don't know. I think it is like the swagger and stuff that they portray, and I think like you sit there and you're like, oh, you get mesmerized by that, and then once you actually have to be like in an actual relationship with them, and they're like, they're like my dog. It's like 5 p.m. Why isn't dinner ready? And you're like, what? I didn't know that was gonna happen in this relationship.
Yeah.
And you're like, really? Do you think all that swagger came for free? Like. I don't know, and I just think you have to kind of like feel people out. I mean, I get why like that alphaness is more attractive, and but I feel like as soon as someone said something like off kilter, it should be kind of like a red flag for you, and you should address it because like April said, maybe like what your boyfriend says, like maybe some guys just don't realize that they are being sexist.
Right. I don't think I think most of what he says is. It's just unconscious. He just doesn't realize it.
Because even though we're adaptable humans now, we're like growing up in a time where we're not growing up, we're grown in a time where things are changing and we're changing with it. We have to remember that we came from like a very rigid place where we had not necessarily had to wear dresses, but it was pink and blue baby showers. That's it.
Yeah.
And then
that's what we were told.
All our
this
stuff was
normal.
pink, and are yellow, if that, but we like didn't really get to do the other things.
So they're
I
changing.
had streamers on my bike and everything else. I didn't
Right.
get to have like the horn and all that other shit
Yeah,
because I was a girl.
because you were a girl.
Mhm.
Which I think that's why we can try to help men change now, but I think it's really important to raise our sons differently,
Mm-hmm.
and
Absolutely.
that's going to be a big thing.
And let our daughters know that you don't have to be stuck in this. If you want to play with Legos, if you want to play with building sets and be an
Yeah.
engineer,
Exactly.
do it.
I have I'll tell you guys, I have a family who the little girl gets kind of bullied a lot, and sometimes it's boys who are picking on her.
Mm-hmm.
And her mom's like, well, when boys, when boys like you, they're mean to you.
Yeah,
And I
that's
was
the big
like,
one.
Mhm.
Don't say that, please. And I was like, well, as where that may be true, I was like, it's not nice for boys to be mean to you. I was like, but sometimes they don't know how to act, so that's what comes out. I'm like, but it's not okay that they're being mean to you. Like, don't let her. I'm like, and I told her, I was like, I don't really think it's fair to like tell her that that's okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And her dad's the dad's like a really nice, fun-loving dad, So
Mhm.
I don't think she'll see that. I mean, I don't know what he's like when I'm not there, but
Right.
I don't think she'll
It's the
see
fun
that-
ones.
It's a
But
fun-
that shrugging it off needs to stop.
yes,
Exactly.
Because shrugging,
like,
you,
oh,
in a
he
way,
just
you're
likes
shrugging
you.
off the bullying too.
Right.
Mhm.
She's trying to like help build her confidence because like
Mhm.
everyone kind of knocks down her confidence, and
Right.
she does feel different from everybody else. She might
Mhm.
be on the spectrum, but like
Mhm.
to say like, oh, boys act like that, and I'm like, don't.
Just ignore
Start
it.
that.
Don't worry about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's because he likes you. That's why. It's
Right.
really a good
Mhm.
thing. Like, no.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, because they're just gonna ignore it for his entire childhood, and then his like young adulthood, and then all through college, and then he's gonna have a hashtag Me Too moment, and they're gonna be like, oh, he should have known better. But
Right.
but if you didn't teach him better,
If
then
he was told it was okay that he's being mean because he allegedly likes her.
yeah,
Mhm.
But yeah, so I like the whole thing that's going around now. Like it says instead of boys will be boys, and it says boys will be held accountable for their
yes.
actions.
Oh, I love it.
And I think that's like really important. So
Absolutely.
hopefully women can start to have the conversation with these men when they are being sexist about what they're saying is kind of sexist, and you shouldn't say that.
Right.
Like if I want to get a dirt bike tomorrow, I'm gonna do it. Damn it.
Do it.
Women are attracted to whoever they're attracted to. I mean, think about who you see on TV when you watch movies. Like, it's the tough, strong guys who are like saving the day.
Mhm.
Like Kevin Hart's cute, but when Kevin Hart's in the movie with The Rock, you're not looking at Kevin Hart. I mean, let's be honest.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Well, Kevin Hart's kind of sexist too, so there's that.
like, that's a whole other podcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of whole other podcasts,
Oh.
next week we're talking about vanity in relationships. Is it okay to tell your partner if it's something physically about them you don't like, or you want them to change because you don't like it?
Oh God.
That includes a whole array of things.
You'll see me in the comment section on that one.
We'll be looking for you. So, Brigid, thank you for joining us once again.
It was it was awesome. I'm loving this all female thing.
You could be a resident feminist or something. I don't know. We'll have to give you a new title.
Yeah, I don't really have one. That's fine.
But if you have another topic that you would like to explore, or if you want to write into us or call us and tell us if you're attracted to sexist men, this one time at band camp, tell us what happened. Or if you have some things to add about next week's podcast, you can write to us at bedlovebeyond@gmail.com, or you can call or text us, believe it or not. We would get it if you tried, at 201-862-8-BED, which is 201-862-8233. We will play your voicemail if you leave one. And thank you for listening to us on Podbeam, iTunes, Pocket Cast, Stitcher, and Google Podcasts. And you can rate and review and like and subscribe to us on any of the devices that you listen to. We can be found at bedlovebeyond@gmail.com. You can email us, and our website is bedlovebeyond.com. And our Facebook is / obviously Facebook / bedlovebeyond. I'm thinking about doing a Facebook group, but I'm not sure how that works. I was getting some feedback. And you can follow us at bedlovebeyond on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. We don't really use Periscope anymore, but if we decide to do a live podcast, which requires me to put on something more presentable than my Bob Marley t-shirt, I will. And April, where can we find you? Because April's still doing her thing.
Not as much as I should, but
Sunday's coming. Sunday.
Gmail, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Miss April Speaks.
And you're also, you're on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And WordPress.
Oh, yeah. You'll see my WordPress on any of those things. There's a link to it. Yeah.
And remind me, I will put your article that you put up, that you wrote, your blog. We'll repost it on the webpage.
Gotcha.
And anything else, ladies?
That's it.
That's it.
Thank you for joining us.
It's a wrap.
Peace.